Hello everyone. It's that time of the year again. It's Christmas and my church is coming on carol rounds this weekend, so I'm getting a jump start with preparing my favorite dish, the ribbon pakoda. There's varieties of pakodas you can make, but this is ribbon pakoda because we use an interesting hole or sieve that the murukku shooter has. This setup gives you the dough in the shape of ribbons and that you deep fry, and it's crunchy and crispy and excellent to serve as a snack. So let's start with the ingredients. I have rice flour. I'm going to use 1.5 cups of it, and this is chickpea flour or Besan. I will be using 1.5, or no, actually 2.5 of it. And this is chutney dal or puttu kadalai powder, or we call it dalia in Hindi, but it's basically roasted chickpea flour, and about 1/2 to 3/4 cup of that. And you'll need 1 teaspoon of salt, oil to deep fry, some asafoetida, and we have about melted butter about 1 to 2 teaspoons. I have cumin powder about 1 teaspoon, and this is chili powder that you can add according to your taste. Usually I add 1 teaspoon. And here is the interesting aspect where I have 2 tablespoons of sesame seeds that I'm going to pound it. So it's a coarse powder and it will go through the sieve, otherwise it will block it and you will have a high, very stressful time. Don't want to do that. Okay, I'm going to pound it using this. It's a mortar pestle. Just roughly pound it to a coarse paste. And these are my measuring spoons. And then this is the standard measuring cup I'm going to use. So I'm going to add all these ingredients together and make a stiff dough with some water. Just plain cold water, nothing special. And first we're going to make the dough and then heat our oil in this pan. Of course it's wet right now. I'm going to wipe it down and pour the oil, and I have my setup ready. I have my sieve, the place where I'm going to put the cooked ribbon pakodas. So drain it out of all the grease, and later I'm going to place it in a tray to cool down, and then I'm going to box it in a metal tin. Don't throw away your old cookie tins. This could be repurposed to store your ribbon pakodas. So let's get started. First, let's make our stiff dough. Add water only as needed, because if your dough is too loose, you're going to soak in a lot of oil. It'll be very greasy and no fun to eat. Okay, so let's get started. So I've added all my ingredients. All I need to do is add butter, my wet ingredients, and my water to make it into a stiff dough. So 2.5 cups of Besan flour or chickpea flour, and 3/4 cups of chutney dal or roasted gram flour, and 1.5 cups of rice flour, 1 teaspoon of chili powder, 1 teaspoon of cumin powder, 2 tablespoons of coarse pounded sesame seeds, and 2 teaspoons of butter, and water as needed. We're going to mix it all together along with some asafoetida, like 1/4 to 3/4 teaspoon, and 2 teaspoons of salt, or as per taste. So let's make it into a stiff dough. While I make the dough, go get yourself some hot cocoa and enjoy the season with some Christmas carols. So I got my dough together and I made it into cylindricals so it would fit into my murukku shooter. I have it all set ready to go. I have my little mold to go into, and the oil is getting hot. I have my draining container ready to go. So keep everything set and get yourself a nice cup of cocoa, hot cocoa with marshmallow. What is life without some kind of indulgence, right? And this time of the year, it's cold and it's late in the night while I'm cooking. So whole world is fast asleep and I'm here listening to Christmas carols and drinking hot cocoa and making ribbon pakoda. So let's get shooting this beauty. So I've loaded up my murukku shooter with the dough, and make sure you keep your dough covered with a wet paper towel or a wet muslin cloth so it doesn't dry out. And we need to test the oil if it's ready. So I'm going to take a piece of dough and put it in the oil. See, it's not done yet. It should come up promptly. So I'm going to increase the heat and make sure things are out of the way so I don't burn myself. And it's hot oil, so definitely be careful. Precaution is always good. And while I was making the dough and getting things set, I cleaned up my workplace. Always find time to clean up as you go so that you don't have a big mess to clean up later. Okay? Make cooking fun and easy. So I'm going to see if the oil is ready now. I have another piece of dough. Let's see what it does. Still not ready yet. So we're going to try one more time. So it's been about 2 to 3 minutes after a few sips of hot cocoa. Let's try our dough test. So drop a piece of dough. See how it comes up quickly? Now our oil is ready. And I have my murukku shooter ready to go. Oops, that's gonna burn my hand. So always find a place to rest your spoon away from the heat. So there is a spoon rest, or you can use a plate. I prefer both. So we're gonna shoot the dough directly into the oil. I definitely need my other hand. It's a bit slow, but we'll get it there. I'm gonna turn on. So the dough has been launched. I needed both my hands, and you don't have to be very specific. You just randomly make a shape just in circles. Usually we break it up later. So once one side is done, then you flip it and you cook at the other side. In no particular order, you just want it all crisped up neatly. If it burns up quickly, turn down the flame, otherwise you're good to go. So this is how you make ribbon pakoda. So make it this Christmas or any festive season. It's a great snack. You can eat it plain or with a nice cup of tea, or in my case, hot cocoa. Okay, try it and let me know how it turns out. So this gets done pretty easy and fast. Doesn't take much time at all. And then you will drain it on paper towels. I thought I was using that, but I realized these are too wide, so I'm just going to directly put it in my draining tray. So repeat it till all your dough is done, and you can do a taste test even now and make sure all the salt is good. If not, you could have an opportunity to add some more.